Good evening. The day has finally come because we are today going to be unboxing the iPhone Air, the iPhone Crossbody strap, the iPhone clear case, the iPhone Air bumper, the iPhone Air battery, and, for posterity, AirPods Pro 3. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. I should say I have touched the iPhone 17 Pro. I have not touched an iPhone Air yet. This is going to be my first reaction to it. Here we go. Holy. That is pretty insane. That is... that is ridiculously thin. I can't really describe how insanely thin that is. Jesus. It's like a credit card. Can you guess which color I ordered? This is supposed to be the gold color, not especially gold looking, if I do say so myself. Kind of looks silver. This needs to be held to be believed. That is just insane. Okay, so I have a few points of reference here compared to the iPhone 4, compared to the current iPhone 16 Pro. I mean, just look at that. One of the thinnest phones before the iPhone 7 Plus. I was worried the bigger size would mean it would be harder to hold in the hand. Holding my iPhone 16 Pro in a hand, I mean, it's so thick, my hands have to wrap around it. This, I've got room to spare. You know, I've still got to adjust my grip, but you know, my thumb can reach almost to the opposite side again on a bigger screen. If you like big screens, you don't really have to sacrifice your one-handed ability. But you know, that edge is just so thin and so barely gold that it's almost hard to tell. You can see the camera plateau is all shiny and reflective. It feels a lot tackier than the bottom and the rest of the phone. And I feel like if the whole thing was tackier, it might be easier to hold in a hand. Hello. When I was holding it in my hands, two-handed, you just feel like the thinnest edge just like running across your hand. Let's look at some of our accessories, starting with the bumper. Tan color, pretty thin. Still has the pass-through camera control sensor there. Okay, just squeezes in. The last corner is a little hard to do, but... So you lose some of the thin feeling in your hand because it does add a little bulk around the edge, but you do still feel how thin it is, you know, wrapping your hand around the back and touching the screen. The dramatic feeling in the palm of your hand is a little lost. Also annoying about this case, the camera plateau and the camera lens still protrudes. So even with the bumper case, it still rocks on the surface of a table. Not great, honestly. I was kind of hoping that Apple would have a design that sort of gets thicker around the top and still protects the plateau, but I guess they really wanted that uniform bumper even more than that. So in that case, I don't really see why anybody will buy this case, because the people who want to go caseless aren't going to be satisfied because it's so thick around the edge, but the people who want phone protection aren't going to be satisfied because it still exposes the most important part of the phone. I mean, not only do you have your one and only camera on the back, but literally all of the phone components of the phone are in this plateau up here on the back. It's not going to feel protected. I think I'm actually going to like this one more. So this is the clear case. This case covers the entire surface of the back phone, but it actually is thinner as well. You can see the bottom surface there adds just very small amounts of thickness to it. And it's actually, you know, more protective because it protects the rear camera plateau, the lens itself. It no longer sticks out. The iPhone 6, 6S, and 7 were among the thinnest phones Apple had ever made until the iPhone Air, but put an iPhone Air in a case and it's still thinner. Now we will try the crossbody strap. All right, we've got directions. And then we have these two tabs here. I imagine I probably have to take the case off to do this. This takes a lot of dexterity. There we go. Put it through. And click. So this isn't going to be the, take on and off willy-nilly. This is very much install on your favorite case. Okay, so we will carry that on, and we will unbox the iPhone Air MagSafe battery. Thin, light. USB-C port on the bottom. It's got a very soft texture to it on the back and the front. Little impossible to read gray text there. Very nice in the hand. I love the feeling of this. And we'll just stick it on. Pretty substantial in the hand now that I've got all the accessories on it at once, the battery, the case, the strap. But, you know, now we've doubled the battery life of this phone. Let's see what it's like without the case with the battery. That's not so bad. Still a little heavy, but not bad overall. I believe we just figured out today that the battery that's inside the MagSafe battery is actually the very same part of the battery that goes inside the phone. So you are literally just doubling your battery life when you buy this MagSafe battery. And of course, when you have the battery pack on the phone, the camera no longer touches the table. Rock solid. So while we're at it, we'll take a look at these AirPods. Obviously, I can't set them up while the other phones are doing their thing, but we can at least get them out of the box, see how they look. And here we go. And here we have our other tips, as in ear tips. We have a lanyard strap on these as well, USB-C port, and speakers. The case no longer has a button on it. It's all capacitive, so you've just got to double tap to connect to other devices. You can stick it on a MagSafe charger, Apple Watch charger, or just plug it in. A few points about the case. The case isn't any smaller than the previous one. In fact, it's actually slightly larger than the AirPods Pro 2. And it has less battery inside. The previous case would get you up to 30 hours total. Now it only gets you up to 24. They put less battery in it. But that does mean that it's less heavy, the overall package. And the earbuds themselves do have more battery life than before. They now get 8 hours on a charge if you have noise canceling on, as opposed to just 6 hours on a charge. You know, with less battery in the case, that is less time overall. You win some, you lose some. So there we have it. First impressions, iPhone Air, super light, super comfortable in the hand, mind-blowing. You have to go to an Apple store and hold this. It's fantastic. I guess it's worth noting, the iPhone Air has pretty much the same battery life as the iPhone 16 Pro, according to Apple. So you really might not need the MagSafe battery, but if you do and you want to double your all-day battery life, get a combined 40 hours, it's what you got to do. It's pretty heavy overall, but it is a very nice product. Clear case, I think this is the way to go. It covers and protects the whole phone. It doesn't make it feel very big, honestly, because, I mean, look how thin it is on the back. Crossbody strap, pretty slick, a little fiddly to set up, but I think a lot of people will enjoy it. The bumper case I really wanted to like, but honestly, it seems to be the worst of both worlds. It makes the phone feel thick in the hand, and it doesn't protect the whole phone. But as you know, this is not Apple's first bumper case. I do have one more thing to unbox today. I found a new old stock iPhone 4 bumper case that I'm going to take a look at for comparison today. Comes in this form-fitting plastic case with a little cardboard sleeve on the back. So we're just going to pop this off here. Rubber and plastic construction. Click it in here. So times have obviously changed since this original bumper case. You can see uniform thickness all the way around, but of course the phone had uniform thickness all the way around. You know, that pinprick there in the corner is the camera, as opposed to this. That's what 15 years will do. Metal buttons on the edge of the case. Very nice, very clicky. Round circular buttons. And a metal power button on top. Feel nice in the hand. The new bumper case doesn't have metal buttons. It's just got, you know, plastic all the way around. Does not live up to its grandfather in that regard. So there we go. That's the full unboxing of the iPhone Air and all its accessories. Remember to like and subscribe and hype this video. I will have a full review of the iPhone Air next week on this very same channel. I'm Griffin Jones with Cult of Mac.